Good evening, welcome to Cause, Creating and Understanding Self-Empowerment. I'd like to start off like I always do. Life get better when you get better. Once again, I came outside doing my running, and this is what I wanted to do yesterday, but it just seemed like a lot of things wasn't working with me. And even today, where I wanted to do it from, which is a bench, someone was on it. But I mean, hey, the mission must still go on, like I told you yesterday. Sometimes when you have these interruptions with your intentions, hey, you don't camp out there. You don't build a tent, put a sign in the road, say road closed. You find another way to do it, So anyway, like I told you, I usually run in the evening, and so I have this iPod and I keep this hat on, keep something on to just keep the iPod stationary in my ear, So that works for me. That's a solution. And I have found out it worked. I either that or a handkerchief around my neck. So, but anyway, I had an interesting conversation today at work, I'm telling you, man, where I work at is almost like a cult. I mean, everybody is of the same mindset. And what I like that, I'm like the last one there, so I kind of drift more than everybody else because my assignment is like, I fulfill it and then I wait on someone to give me another spreadsheet and then I try to fill that gap. But like I said, man, I'm telling you where I work at, everybody is of one mindset. Everybody is on a mission. So anyway, today we was talking about some things and, in terms of waking a sleeping giant. That's the theme. So, I had came into the conversation and I felt comfortable with the two people that I was around in the office. And I told them, I said, it's a great theme, but what you got to understand, you're trying to wake people up that sleep, and sometimes sleep is a comfort. Sometimes people don't want to be woke. I used to always use this cliche like, hey, you don't go to the graveyard and pass out medication, because the graveyard is full of dead people. Medication is for the live. And sometimes some people don't want to be woken up. They want to stay asleep because it's comfortable. But you got to understand this also, it's like you can't describe sleep until you woke. So sometimes trying to wake people up to your agenda, which is good for them, they might don't understand it because I use the example of this, that we all can have the same attitude about something, but we all don't have the same altitude about something, Sometimes it's like when you're in the street trying to organize people for as like trying to get them for voters turnout, you're dealing with an uneven development, Some people know mental retardation by Down syndrome, but mental retardation sometimes has a lot to do with your IQ, It's like sometimes people are morally inadequate, right, and socially inadequate to do some things, They might want to, but they don't have the academic knowledge, right, to understand what you're saying. I remember I used this story. I said, man, I thought everybody knew what yoga was, right? So I was in the cell with a guy, and he had just came in, and I was up getting ready to do my yoga. He said, what you doing, Sally? I said, I'm about to do yoga. He said, what that is? I said, yoga. He said, oh man, you made that up. I heard of yoga to eat, I ain't never heard of yoga, what you doing? And I just took for granted that everybody knew what yoga was, see? Meaning that sometimes, you just take for granted other people learning and you trying to teach them something that they don't have the skill set to even learn, So as a result of it, you ain't making progress because you can't specialize your learning with one individual when there's a group of them. You're trying to reach a mass of people with a message. So that's the thing that I was telling them about, And I felt like with the election that's going on right now, it's kind of example of somebody that just recently died in a car wreck, right? And he was a Muslim, right? But his parents wanted to bury him as a Christian. And in the funeral home that they was burying him at is where most Christians get baptized, be waked, have their funeral at, okay? My words are stumbling. Okay, Now, I told the person, I said, now these people here, right, want the funeral at that particular thing because that's who they are. But I understand that a funeral is an event for the living, not the dead, okay? Meaning that if he would have had a Muslim burial, right, he wouldn't have had the turnout. Not only wouldn't he not have the turnout, some people wouldn't have went because they would have felt like, hey, that's not my religion, so I'm not even participating in that, right? Okay, so there's some things like this that's fit to go on with the election. You know, you got some people that's Democrats, and they Democrats only because their mother was and their mother was, so registratively everybody in their demographics is Democrats, right? And this is what they have been voting for, right? But now it's like a disconnect because, right, that same way some of those Christians wouldn't go to a Muslim burial, some of these Democrats, right, ain't gonna vote Republican. They just gonna stay out because they feel certain things in their pocketbook. They feel certain things with their insurance. They feel certain things with their taxes. You know, the prices of certain things. They feel it. You know what I'm saying? So they don't know what they're gonna get. So, and rather than them mess something up, what they would take and do is they would stand out this election. And that's what I see what's gonna happen and things. So, you know, it's kind of like everybody feel things even when they don't see it, you know. So that's what I was trying to explain, that, you know, that it's an uneven development among the people, you know. So some things you're trying to get them to invoke this desire to go one way, but some of the things that you say, some of the people don't have the aptitude for it, you know. But I hope it turned out the way that everyone desired to have it turn out, you know. So.